Hello again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another speed build video in The Sims 4. I hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We are creating an apartment for a single dad, and it's like a fresh start apartment. Now I'll pop a card in the top right hand corner for you because I would say at this point it's probably around a month ago, we actually created an apartment for a single mum who was like getting a fresh start for her and her family. Again, I really didn't think too much into the specifics as to why the dad and the mum of these children split up. Just as in the previous video, we didn't really give too much thought and backstory as to why it happened. I thought that would be a really nice kind of storyline for you all to go through and play through if you do decide to download this apartment. Now, this is a floor plan that I pinched from somewhere on Pinterest. I saw it and I thought, ooh, this is really quite wonderful actually, and I'm afraid I don't know the creator's name. I'm so sorry. That probably seems quite ignorant of me to not know the creator's name. I do apologise. It's not good of me at all to not know the creator's name that actually came up with this floor plan. But I just thought this was a really good opportunity to explore this particular family dynamic, and I thought as well it would be a really good opportunity to create, I don't want to call it a bachelor pad, because it's definitely not. This dad is raising, I don't even think I've spoken about this. This dad is raising his two sons. Now, I think one of them is potentially either very nearly a teenager or is a teenager, and then the other one is a child. So that's the kind of dynamic that I was thinking of for this family, and I just really love that idea. The boys do share a room. Like I said, this is like a fresh start apartment, so I think the mum and the dad probably lived together in a big house and then they've decided to split up, and the dad's, for whatever reason, again not entirely sure as to why, has taken full custody of the boys and he's doing the best he can. I think this dad is I don't know what career he has, I'm going to be completely honest, but I think it's quite high end, you know, to be able to afford an apartment like this in the city. And like when you have a look at the sort of furniture that we decided to go for, and the fact that I think this dad has a good sense of style, you know, I think this apartment's a really good mix of bachelor pad and kind of single man, but he loves his kids so much and he's just wanted to create this fresh start for him and his family, and I just thought that was such a wonderful storyline. So we've already done the floor plan, we've decided on the floorings and the walls and such, and now we're working on the living room space. And I've been using a few new items from some of the new kits that have recently been released, because I'm very aware that I haven't really been using any of those items from any of the kits. I haven't really done any kit overviews, not since the Cozy Gamer kit overview that I did at this point, again, probably about 3 weeks ago now, maybe even 4 weeks ago. I haven't actually uploaded for a week because I have just been away with my husband's family. We went away for a long weekend. We stayed in some really beautiful lodges around an hour away from where we live, and I didn't have anything pre-recorded or anything like that. I did post this on my community tab and just said I'm really sorry. Usually I would have something to go up while I'm away, and unfortunately that just didn't happen. My other job has been super busy, and then now I have a week off, which is really exciting actually, because I am starting live streaming this week. So I've got all my live streaming assets completed, everything's ready to go. So we are, as I'm filming and recording this, it is Monday. We are going to be live tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. UK time. So I'll be putting all of the details on my community tab. Funnily enough, I don't think it's called a community tab anymore. I think it's called YouTube posts now, but that is where I'll be announcing all of the details officially. So I'm very excited, and we're going to be getting into hopefully a bit of a routine with live streaming and obviously the videos as well. I think we were getting into a really good rhythm and routine of videos on the channel, and then I took a little break unintentionally, but sometimes it is necessary. So we are back, we're fully back, and yeah, live streams are pending, which is very, very exciting. But anyway, the living room is, I want to say it's pretty much done. I'm just looking at the clips and the footage, and there's a lot of cluttering and finagling that goes on in here. I don't think anyone's surprised because I tend to mess around with things. I get a little bit overwhelmed with, oh no, well that clutter doesn't look quite right. And I'll change my mind a million times about where the item placement is. It's like, this is a prime example of me and my brain trying to work through a build, and we got there eventually, we did. And something else that I think is quite key for this apartment, I think this dad is like kind of like a cool younger dad. I don't think he's particularly old or anything like that, whilst I still maintain that his two children, like one of them is probably nearly a teenager and the other one's a child. I do think he's like a younger, more stylish dad, and I think that his sons just think he's like the coolest dad ever. I think all of his sons' friends think he's the coolest dad ever. I think when he comes to pick up the boys from school, all of their friends know who he is. Like, they all want to come around here and just hang out with him because he has like the coolest stories, and he's probably a little bit more laid back, being a slightly like younger dad is what I envision. So that's just more of the storyline that I was thinking about whilst I was decorating this apartment. And it's always really interesting when you enter either an apartment or a house with an idea of the family dynamic that you're wanting to achieve. And I don't know about anybody else, but I tend to have a plan 9 times out of 10 of, okay, well, this house is going to be for this family dynamic, this apartment is going to be for this family dynamic. And then as I'm moving through and working on the apartment or the house more and more, and I'm pulling different items from the catalogue and I'm finding different items from the catalogue, I think it helps you build that character a little bit more. And you think, oh, well, they might be really into playing the guitar, or they might be really into writing and reading novels, so I'll give them like a bookshelf and a computer to make sure that they can write and things like that. I just think you can have an initial idea, and then you just build upon that as you kind of work through the build itself. I hope that makes sense, but that tends to be how I work and what my thought process is. But anyway, the living room is done. Now we move on to the kitchen, which I ended up really liking. Honestly, I didn't really have an idea. All I knew was that I wanted to use these new base game counters because I haven't had an opportunity to use them yet, and they're so beautiful. I've been waiting for counters like this in the base game, well, just in general, but the fact that they added them to the base game is just incredibly exciting for me. So again, keeping with the theme of this kind of high-end apartment feel, but he has kids. So, the counters are very rich, and I just think everything works beautifully. And we also went with black appliances, which is something that I don't typically do, and I just loved the way that they looked within this apartment unit. I absolutely adored this space. I think it's a really beautiful blend, like I was saying at the beginning, I'm sorry, I won't bring it up again, of like cool dad mixed with kid stuff, and it was a really, really interesting sort of interior design choice for me to explore as a builder. So I'm hoping that you all like this, because honestly I had a really, really good time just thinking about more and more about the Sims that could potentially live here. And I love the fresh start idea. Genuinely, I do. I think that this is a fresh start for the dad, the sons, for everybody involved. And I'm wishing them all the best. I know that obviously they're not real, but I'm just wishing them the best. Truly, truly. But yeah, anyway, kitchen is coming together so nicely. And what do we have on the fridge? We have the post-it notes from the Parenthood debug menu, because it wouldn't be a RachelPedd build without these post-it notes. Okay, I'm sorry, it just wouldn't. And then I started to add things from the Parenthood pack because I was already in the catalogue for Parenthood, such as this. Okay, I call it a chalkboard. I know it's not a chalkboard, but I'm pretty sure when you're actually playing the game and not just building like me, you can set curfews, and I think you can set chores for the kids. I'm not 100% sure. I'm so sorry. I need to get into more Sims 4 gameplay, because I think that it would really help me as a builder understand a little bit better what your Sims requirements are. I haven't really had many complaints in the past about, well, Rachel, you forgot to add X, Y, and Z, and my Sims are struggling to to fulfill their needs or whatever. I really do try and think, but obviously with me not being much of a game player, there's going to be things that I miss, unfortunately. So loved the idea as well of adding the dining room table with just the 3 chairs. I thought that was a really key thing for me to do, and I'm hoping now that I'm saying that, I don't think I shimmy it along and add a 4th chair. Again, I might be entirely wrong here, but we have the bar stools at the island as well, which I thought was a really nice touch. And then I was realising that this kitchen is actually a lot bigger than I had anticipated, which does happen to be quite frequently, with my builds. And so I was just trying to think, well, how do I furnish the space? How do I fill the space out with things that are useful for your Sims and not just aesthetically pleasing? Being a builder in The Sims, you've got to find that really sort of good balance between the two. But I think we did that with this particular kitchen, and I do love how it turned out, genuinely. I think it's got that, again, really nice balance of what we're trying to achieve and versus what the Sims' interests are and who the Sims are as well. So really, really exciting. But yes, then we move on to the one and only bathroom. It's a full bathroom, so we do have a shower bath combination here. That was really important for me because the bathroom's quite long and skinny. And so it would have been very easy for me to add just a shower in here, but I wanted there to be a bath as well because I think it's just a really nice option for you and your Sims to have in any build, but particularly in an apartment where it potentially... I don't think this apartment feels small. I was just about to say it's a really good thing to have in an apartment that's small. This is not a small apartment. Like, this is a really good sized apartment. At least I think so. And then I was like, oh, I think we need to be adding more things in here because this is looking a little bit too bachelor pad. You know, as I was saying, and as I have been saying throughout the whole process, I wanted there to be a really nice balance. And so I was trying to show that within the bathroom as well. But yes, now that the bathroom's done, we had to kind of work on this really awkward access point that I've got no other way to describe it. Access point where you access the boys' bedroom and then the bathroom as well, because I wanted it to be kind of closed off from the living space, and that was how the floor plan was laid out on Pinterest as well, and I just really loved the idea. But then we start working on the boys' room, which I love how this turned out. I'm going to be completely honest, I love using these bunk beds. I'm pretty sure they're from Growing Together. I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure these are from Growing Together, sorry. And I wanted there to be a really loose space theme in here, so I also ended up adding this little lamp from the Cozy Gamer kit because it has it's like a little alien, which I just thought was a really, really cool idea. So there's a few items in here that kind of point towards the boys being interested in space, but this is where I started to realize that perhaps one of them is slightly older than the other. So we have like a mishmash of like teen stuff along with like child stuff, but I think this room could definitely still work if you just had either 2 children or even 2 teens as well. I think there's potentially just some bits and bobs around the room and potentially around the apartment that you might need to remove, but it really just depends. I don't know if anyone has got a family dynamic like this where you're just ready to move them in, or whether perhaps it's inspiring you to create a family specifically for this apartment. I can't talk today. It's like I'm almost out of practice, having not uploaded anything for a week, and this is exactly why I don't like doing it, because I do genuinely feel quite out of practice, so I do apologize. I'm trying my best, okay? I know that you guys love to kind of sit and snuggle up and listen to my voiceovers or watch, on camera videos of me. But sometimes it's a little bit chaotic. Like this voiceover feels particularly chaotic and not too calm, which is not what I was hoping to achieve with this. But look, it's clearly what's going on with me today, so you've just got to roll with it. Anyway, we start cluttering up this little unit here, which again is from Parenthood. I was trying to match the woods. I was getting a little bit irritated because the woods weren't matching, and that's not necessarily something that bothers me. It absolutely is. In some of my builds, I think, well, no, it doesn't matter because that's not the look that we're going for. But as I was saying, with this particular family dynamic, I do think the dad, he's quite stylish, and I think he would be kind of saying, well, no, the top of this doesn't match the wood of your bunk bed, so that's not happening. And before anyone says anything, I am fully aware that wardrobe is white wood. But in my head, you're allowed to mix white woods with like natural woods. Although I would argue that this is not a natural wood. Now we're going down a completely different rabbit hole, and I'm just going to come off that subject entirely. We do end up removing this little activity table because I was thinking the boys are slightly older than Sims that would need to use that activity table, shall we say. So I do replace it with this little desk, which I think it's either from high school years or growing together is this desk. Again, I'm sure someone will let me know in the comments down below. It's one of the two. I'm almost positive, but I'm not entirely sure which one. But I digress at this point. I also decided to add this little beanbag chair just in the middle here because it just means that one of them can maybe be on the computer and chilling out, the other one could be playing on the console or watching TV, one of them could be in the bed watching TV. Like, it just offers a little bit more versatility in the room, and it also broke it up a little bit because it's such a square room. Usually my kids' rooms aren't this shape and size, so when I got this square bedroom, it did throw me off a little bit, I'm going to be completely honest, but in like a really good way, because it's such a lovely size and shape. I just thought it worked really, really well for this particular apartment, so I hope you agree with that. So the posters on the wall, again, they kind of point towards that dynamic that we've been discussing throughout the entire process, so I'm not going to mention it again. Finding different pieces of clutter here and then just realising this is not cluttered enough for a RachelPedd kid/teen room. It just wasn't. So I started just trying to find things from the catalogue that I thought would be appropriate for in here, and then we added this little spaceship. I'm almost 99% sure that one's from Growing Together. And then that's the boys' room done and dusted. And then we move on to Dad's room, which this is actually smaller than the boys' room. I think, you know, given the circumstances, I think the dad probably said, look, there's two of you, there's one of me. You take the bigger bedroom and I'll have the smaller bedroom. And then it just means that they both have, like, all the Sims in here have their privacy because of the way that the bedrooms are kind of spaced out within the apartment, which I thought was a really nice idea. I don't know how long the Sims who live here would be living here for. I don't know if it's a long-term thing or a short-term thing. I don't know if the dad's going to perhaps meet someone else or what. I didn't really think that far ahead, but what was really important for me was with this bedroom, was to keep it in keeping. Yes, I said keep it in keeping with the rest of the apartment. And I think that's exactly what we did. And I love this wallpaper. I haven't used this wallpaper in the longest time, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. But that is pretty much it for the video. So I really hope you enjoyed this. If you would like to download this apartment, it's available from the gallery right now. My origin ID is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description box just below. You can get them for free from SimFileshare. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here today. You all take care. I hope to see some of you tomorrow evening for our live stream. And if not, that's absolutely fine as well. But I hope to see some of you there. You all take care, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye.